Jeg starter det nu, skat. Jeg starter det nu. Hello. Hi, Sophia, and I guess it's Anna, right? I put in the chat that we'll just start maybe 3 minutes from now, because I know that a few more have confirmed their participation. So I'll just give them a little extra time to participate. Yes. So I'll check in with you in 3 minutes. Så er du på træning? Ja, god idé. All right, and I think Sophia is just gonna join via the phone. I don't know if you followed the chat. So just a few more seconds, and then we can start. There she is. Hi, Sophia. Hello.
I'm here.
Hi. Is it better?
Hello. Yeah.
Maybe. All right.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, that's good. So we also have Henriette here. Hello, Henriette. We are just about to get started. We just saved a few more minutes for the participants to join. I know a few more have said they will come, but it's also a December evening and a lot of busy times. So let's see. A few also had some kids they had to put to bed. So maybe they will join in later. So I think that I will get started now, so it won't be too late either. So welcome. I'm really glad to have you here. We're a small bunch and it's really nice. Feel free to have your video on if you would like to connect a bit more. It's nice to see you. It was very dark where you are, Anna, but maybe we'll succeed. But yeah, so I'm just gonna run you through. It's an informational hour about the Vinyasa Yoga Teacher Trainings in 2026 at YUM, our 200-hour format. I'm gonna start out with some quite fundamental information about the training format and what YUM is all about if you haven't been there already. And then we're going in to talk about the teacher team and a bit about how it's all divided. Hi, Henriette. Nice to meet you. And then in the end, we're going to talk a bit about the requirements. Hi, Anna. Hello.
I have not good vision.
It's okay. It's nice to see some sort of frame. It's also winter, right? So yeah, I'm actually I feel I have a lot of light here. I was a bit worried about that situation. So have all of you been to YUM? Sophia, you have been to YUM before, but Anna and Henriette, have you been there before?
No. Yes,
No?
I've been.
Yeah, you've been. Okay. Also, you have been there, Anna. Okay.
I have not.
Okay, all good. I'm gonna show you just a little video and talk a bit about YUM. And if you're interested afterward, it would be lovely to meet you also down there, and you can get a cup of coffee or tea and see the place in real life. So let's get to it. So as you can see on this video, we have the yoga studio. We have one room. We also have a cafe next door, which means that we have this nice combination of a social space where we have concerts and bingo nights and game nights and just regular social interaction. And then we have the yoga studio just next door. And here we, of course, have a lot of different practices. And the combination of the two is just a really nice and special surrounding to connect and participate in a yoga teacher training. Also have we the water just outside the location, which is really nice because of course it's going to be a bit colder when the training starts in January, but you're going to follow also the seasons and the spring will arrive, and just spending a lot of time by the water, taking some walks around the area, maybe meditate by the water side. It's just a really nice surrounding. So there's a little vision here quoted. We envision a world where YUM is the antidote to life's heaviness, and where we find the light in the light in the darkness together, and where laughter is a soundtrack to conscious living. With a dash of delicious humor, we are on a mission to inspire people to awaken their inner YUM, cultivating a harmonious blend of awareness, joy, and purpose that nourishes both their souls and the planet, creating a more YUM believable and heartwarming existence, one smile at a time. So as you might can see, there's nice and bubbly attitude to the things we do at YUM, but of course with a respect towards the philosophy and the craft of yoga. And let's see here. Yes. So these are kind of the hard facts about the trainings we have coming up in 2026. So each year we have two 200-hour trainings starting, which means there is a training starting in January and one starting in July. The content of the two trainings, the teacher team, the manual, everything is the same. The only difference is the duration and when we have put the training days and the what you might call the intensiveness of the courses. So the winter and spring training starts in January and ends in May. And the training days are always Saturdays and Sundays, placed during the midday. So you have the mornings and like late mornings off and the evenings off, and then you have between 4 to 7 hours of training days, those 2 days. Saturdays and Sundays, but it's over the duration of several months, right? So you have time in between. You have the weekdays off to do whatever other life obligations you have, or just spend a lot of time on the homework and the practice. And then for the summer training instead, this is only 6.5 weeks. So here we start with like an introductory weekend. Then there is 4 weeks where we have both weekday and weekend training days. It's 4 days a week. And then we end off with 2 weekends again. And this format we have because if, for example, you want to spend your summer holiday becoming a yoga teacher, then that's a possibility with this format. Maybe you can spend some holiday weeks, or you can work flexible hours during some of the weeks. And there's plenty of ways to do it. What we see is that we also have a lot of internationals coming for the summer training. And actually for this summer, 2025, we had a girl coming all the way from Japan. And I was so honored. I thought it was huge, someone coming all the way from Japan. But also people from France, Germany, Sweden. It seems that Copenhagen is a place that there are some students that would like to spend their summer and then get their certification at the same time. Both trainings are in English, and the curriculum is approximately 170 pages of like a manual written for the training by the teacher team. It's also certified by Yoga Alliance. I don't know how much you know about Yoga Alliance. I can talk more about it later if you want to know more, but to keep it short, it's the only kind of international institution making standardized certifications and grants for yoga teacher training. So you can you have an institution, a third party saying this training kind of lives up to the standards of what you would expect of, for example, a 200-hour training format. Also, you get their stamp on the certificate once you certify through the exam. And this can also be like opening some doors. Not everyone knows about Yum Yoga Cafe. There is a great chance they know about Yoga Alliance. So if you're going to teach elsewhere or outside of Copenhagen or Denmark, then that might be nice. I would want to say though, there's also a lot of people that participate in the trainings that do not have the intention to become teachers. They are simply there to deepen their knowledge about yoga and do more of what they love already and dedicate some time and have a lot of great personal growth. So for the winter training, that starts in January, 17th of January. That's the one that was stretched throughout January, February, March, April, and May. We have these Saturday and Sunday training days where you have classroom hours with the teachers where you do both theoretical and practical part of the education. There are, because it's a lot of weekends, obviously, there are some breaks in between to allow just some space to other things or to keep up with the homework or to study and practice more or just to take a break if you need to relax and just give your body that piece. So in week 7, which is the school's typical winter break, and also for the weekends in week 13 and 14, there's Easter breaks. So that means that throughout the training you have 3 full weekends that are completely off. Then there is a certification day, 3rd of May, and I will talk more about the exam later. Then for the summer training, it's a bit more, it's not that complicated, but maybe it looks a bit complicated. But here we have week 1, we have a weekend with Saturdays and Sundays teaching. Then we have 4 weeks, like I told you, with 4 training days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Typically people spend some flexible work hours or holidays for this. And then we end with 2 weekends in the end. And then by August 16th, we have the certification day. So just to sum it up, two similar educations during the year, but the one of them is a weekend format only, making room for whatever other obligations you have, or just stretch over a bit longer time to have more time to dive into it. And the summer education is shorter and more intense, but the same content and the same learnings as the winter training. If you have questions, just let me know.
I have one question about, I didn't hear, is it like online or in Copenhagen somewhere?
It's at YUM. So the training days are physically at the studio. And then, of course, there are some self-practice hours, and we really prioritize to say that we would like as many hours as possible at YUM, because you can train with the teachers, but we also allow for online training hours or somewhere else. But these scheduled days are at YUM. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Henriette? Oh, you need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is it something like I use Qigong?
Yeah.
Is it something like that, or?
You mean the self-practice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same? Yeah. You know, the same angle?
It doesn't. So we talk a bit more about the self-practice hours in details a little bit later, but I can just explain it now. So the idea about having self-practice hours is that you need a dedicated practice and time on the mat alongside the practical and theoretical training hours on the school. And there's not a requirement that all of these classes are Vinyasa classes. The most important thing is to have a dedicated practice. You can mix it between different styles. What happens when you start on this journey is that you're gonna learn much more about what it means to step onto the mat, regardless also of the style, as a teacher. And a lot of new things are gonna open to you about what that means. Also, when you are participating at other teachers' classes, you're gonna see new things and experience new things, and you're gonna think about oh, what do I actually like if I was the one going to put myself up there as a teacher. So the 50 hours of self-practice that has to be done throughout the training period can be a variation. So it does not have to be all Vinyasa classes. It can also be Qigong, it can be Yin, it can be a mix. Yeah. Was that the question or the answer you needed? Yeah. Okay, good.
Sounds good.
Good. So a day at YUM, we've tried to line out just to give some sort of sense of how is a day at YUM when you're participating in this training. So of course we have the place has this holiday and Bali vibe, and that's not actually coming from me only. It's also coming from the guests that are there. I have experienced so many times people coming there and saying, it's like being on holiday, and so there's something there. The training days are typically 5 to 8 hours maximum for a full training day. There is a scheduled program where you can see the specific hours. Typically there is 2 to 3 breaks during the day. And for these breaks, you can either socialize, or if you need to just be on your own, you can do that. You can utilize the surroundings. It's really important to nourish throughout the training, so get like good food and drinks and snacks, and just to keep up the energy. Typically there is one teacher per day, and this is a teacher request because they really prefer to dive deep. So instead of you having to switch between learning about anatomy and then philosophy the next hour, they really prefer to go deep, and that's what we have a great experience with. So typically it's one teacher per day. Sometimes it will maybe be two, but we try to keep it to one like theme a day. The training days have variations, of course, so you will not be only sitting for 8 hours or only practicing for 8 hours. It's going to be a mix, and the teachers have that in mind when they plan for the training days. Then you have, of course, self-practice in between, and that can be, as I said, at YUM. It's also a possibility to do self-practice classes elsewhere. And this can be a mix, like I said before, so classic yoga classes, or also you can mix it up. We have aerial yoga, for example, and these retreat sessions or other special classes. So you also have that practice in between. Then, as I said, surroundings and location is really great, especially when it's really cozy during winter, and then in the spring, because the sun is in the front of the studio all day, so you have this blue sky, and just it's really great. So I always say, like, make the best of that, because sometimes you can keep inside and forget to actually come out and be by the water side. Then there is, of course, a community vibe and options to participate in other events we have. We have like frequent concerts. For example, we had a meditation concert, like a release album that we hosted a few weeks ago. We have stand-up comedy nights. It's a lot of different things that you can enjoy also together with the other students. And then, of course, sip and savor your own healthy snacks or lunchbox, or you will get 20% also on everything in the cafe when you are participating on the training. It's mostly organic and homemade and plant-based, and there's a lot of just yummy things on that menu card. Yes. Let me see here. So, these are the teachers, Kostis, Marianne, Agni, and Max. If I am to do just a few headlines about the teacher team, it is that it is a very diverse team of teachers, but one thing they have in common is their ambition to provide quality training and education, and to infuse those that are choosing this path that they will come out on the other side actually mastering kind of the foundational tools that they need to be able to, in order for us to also feel that we have an obligation to provide the yoga space with people that know what they are doing. And that is what these people have in common: a big passion and dedication towards yoga, but also this wish to offer something ambitious within the space of yoga trainings. So Kostis is the lead trainer. He has the most hours. It's 80 hours approximately. We call him here the master of precision and presence. He is the one teaching everything about being a teacher and building a sequence, building a flow. He's going through a long list of asanas that you will go through and check with the alignments and learn how to do them correctly, and also how to teach others in doing that. He is very ambitious, and it's very like he's an interesting person and a character, because he has this disciplined and kind of hard surface, but he is soft as butter on the inside, and he really cares about people. So for him it's nice to have him as a lead trainer, because he both brings expectations that if you're gonna do this, you will have to show up and do the work. But at the same time, he's also a very, very kind of caring and loving person on the inside, and he is. He's really good also if someone struggles to follow, for example, or have a lot of absence. He always steps in and does everything he can to help them get to the level needed and to get everyone to the finish line. Then we have Marianne. She's a PhD doctor, also a yoga teacher, of course, the anatomical genius who unites science and mentoring. She is the only Danish teacher, and she's a very good communicator, and also she is a expert within her field. So I couldn't think of anyone better to have teach in regards to anatomy and biomechanics. She's kind of the mom on the training because it's a very male team. So it's nice to have Marianne in there also to sprinkle some other some other values and communication and these things. Also theoretical anatomy and these things can be a little bit, for some, dry, but she has a way of just making it really nice and also blend it in with the yoga practice, so you really get to understand the connection between the biomechanics and anatomy and our whole bodily system in regards to yoga. Then we have Agni, and he is originally from Nepal. He came to Denmark, I think it's 4 or 5 years ago now. He has been at YUM from the early beginning of his arrival here. We met him when he was applying for yoga studio jobs. He has been he's grown up with yoga. His mom was a yoga teacher. He's been living in different ashrams. He has a bachelor in psychology. He is teaching the philosophy and humanities. Also, he is giving the foundational kind of toolbox for teaching meditation and pranayama, so breath work. And what I love about having him on the training is that he is the real deal. He's authentic. He is the one I know who is like living as a yogi by the definition of it. So this is how he approaches life, and he knows everything about it. And at the same time, he's not preachy in any way. There's no like religious expectations or approaches, or it's really like an open space, a compassionate space, and then a well of wisdom. And people are gonna come into this and be differently connected to the philosophy and more spiritual parts of the yoga philosophy. Here you will get like a wide understanding of what it encompasses and what it is, and you will be able to take the things that you are ready to take into your life and feel resonates with you, and other things may not, but just it's about keeping an open mind and understanding what this philosophy is about, right? And then we have Max. He's the playful maestro who brings movement to life. He's originally Italian, has lived in the US for many years. He is a movement nerd, so he's the one who's doing like extracurricular circus and circus activities, and he's really good at playing with the movement part of yoga. He's teaching hands-on adjustment during the training. It's not a lot of hours, but he's there to do that, and then to also provide some inspiration on the movement side and just shake things up a little bit. Then finally, we have, for the last 2 trainings and also the ones coming, we have added Julia in for a few hours. And Julia and I have hosted business hours. So it's only like a few blocks where we, for those that are interested in teaching yoga and kind of going into that space, we offer the opportunity to learn about where do you start and how do you approach it. What will you meet? What will you experience? What can be frustrations or things you didn't expect? And we had really good experiences with this because, of course, when you come from the outside and you maybe want to start testing this. You might have opportunities showing up, and you might have a good network. Maybe you don't. There's so many ways to go into this, and the spectrum is wide, right? You can go all the way from just doing this for your personal development and practice to going like full in and self-employed and build a business. And so there's so many things, and we talk through those things, and then I come in to explain about the studio side of things. So how does it function, like working with the studio? What is a studio looking out for? How can you approach and get into a teacher team, and all of these things. So that has been very popular, and therefore we intend to do it again. Yes. So all together, we call it the dream team, of course. Diversity at its core. You are guided and embraced by a multifaceted team that values diversity, inclusivity, growth, and ambition. You'll experience yoga through different lenses, bringing together science and soul, tradition and modernity, discipline and play. And the goal, of course, is to help you discover your own authentic voice as a teacher and human being. And this is actually one note that I forgot that I love about this teacher team, is that we can have a bit of an idea about what a teacher of yoga looks like, or what you are like. It can be a bit of a stereotype for some, at least. Social media has a great say in that. This teacher team really shows the many varieties of being a teacher and different approaches, and yeah, they're just a great group of people. So altogether, of course, the umbrella of everything and what you'll learn is to master the art of guiding yourself, should also be in here, yourself and others on the yogic journey.
Hello, and my name is Kostis. I'm here the lead teacher in teacher training in Yam Yoga that we are releasing 2 times per year. The styles that I'm teaching are several, but the one that we are teaching here, the one that I prefer the most, is the Vinyasa style. Myself, I'm practicing yoga more than 15 years as a student, and at some point I wanted to live a different kind of life. What we are looking at the yoga teacher training here is to introduce to people the Vinyasa, and besides the theoretical part that we are teaching a lot of the practical. So by the end of the teacher training, someone should be able to construct a class from the beginning to the end and be able to teach it too. This is our goal here.
Yes, so that was Kostis. I'm sorry I didn't introduce the video coming, but we added a few videos here in order to just give you a little bit of a sense of the teachers in case you haven't participated. And I've just welcomed Christina. Hello. Nice to see you here.
Likewise, thank you.
Yes, I'll just continue. We are talking a bit about the teachers now and what they are focusing on each. So Kostis, like I said, is the lead teacher. He has approximately 80 hours during the training. He goes through the philosophy of Vinyasa Yoga, the core principles of sequencing, so making a sequence for a class, the arc structure of a yoga class, the sun salutations and the asanas, a list of 100 plus asanas you are going to go through, and then Max is on the hands-on adjustments. We've been talking a lot, obviously, when creating these trainings, and Kostis told me once that, in his opinion, the foundational training that you take is kind of the most important one for the further journey. And that's why I'm really glad to have him here as a lead teacher, because I know he is very persistent on creating that solid foundation. Yeah, so I will now proceed to the next teacher, and if you have questions, as I said, you can just ask along the way. There's gonna come a video more.
Hi, my name is Max Massimiliano. Max is fine. I've been practicing yoga for 20 some years, more or less, and I've been teaching for 13 to be exact. And the reason why I teach yoga is because I like to be first in front of people and challenge myself, and see the smile of the students. During the teacher training, usually I teach the portion of hands-on adjustment and what I call movement, which are basically we're stepping outside the mat and doing other stuff and see what we can bring back to the mat. And regarding the hands-on adjustment, it's a way to help the students finding their own way in the pose.
Yes, so that's Max, and he has, as he said, this small part on the training, but he's really nice to have in to mix it up a little bit. And we have Marianne.
Hello guys, my name is Marianne, and I'm a yoga teacher, but I'm also a doctor, and I teach the anatomy and the physiology part of your Vinyasa YTT course. My own story or journey as a yogi and a yoga teacher began, I think, like 10 years ago or something like that. Obviously, I've been studying medicine and practicing medicine and teaching in the medical field for a much longer period of time. But at some point, I was in need of something a little bit more holistic, like mentally calming. And this is where yoga came in the picture for me. And I experienced the way that you can combine these two worlds into a very solid based foundation with that little extra sprinkle on the top. And this is also what I strive to teach you, to be able to teach when you become teachers, to have a solid scientific foundation in a yogic context. I strive to learn or teach you about the whys and the how in asana practice, why we do what we do and why we say what we say, how to teach it, so that you can teach and practice in a safe manner and with intention.
Yes. So Marianne's hours are approximately 40 hours during the training, and she goes through the body systems, the locomotor system, the nervous system, respiratory system, and the cardiovascular and circulatory systems. And of course, how all of this applies to the practice. And like she said, also learn the language and understand the foundations and the scientifics behind why we do what we do during the physical practice. Then we have Agni.
My name is Agni, and I have been sharing the knowledge of yoga. Yeah, being a yoga teacher, but I would love to say that I share knowledge of yoga, and since a long time, and I have been into the field of yoga and meditation since early age because my mother was a meditation teacher. So I have got influence from my mother, and I have traveled to different places in Nepal and India to grab the holistic knowledge of yoga. And in Nepal, I have taught for several years yoga teachers training, and also here in Yum since we started. And my way of teaching and sharing knowledge is that we need to implement the mechanical practice that we learn in the teachers training into the lifestyle. Then only we get the absolute result.
Yes. So with Agni, it's approximately 35 hours going through the meaning of yoga, yoga history, the philosophy, the 8 limbs of yoga, the evolution, the yogic techniques of meditation and pranayama, and then especially how to integrate all of that into a daily life and kind of find those, how to build the bridges between the philosophy and this way of living into our modern lives. Yes. And then for the last part, which is Julia's and I, like I explained, it's a few hours on like the yoga as a business. So here we explain, for example, the top 10 unexpected findings when becoming a teacher, which can be quite interesting to learn about. What it means to find your niche, create your foundation as a professional teacher, how you can marketing and build community. Also sustaining your own practice and growth can be actually challenging for some when they start teaching, because you're focusing on teaching others, and then what happens to your own practice. So how to balance that and prioritize that. then what classes you can offer, is events, workshops, many different things. A really good way to just learn about the mechanics of being a teacher on the business side. So in terms of requirements, preparation-wise, there is not a lot that you have to do before. Obviously, we recommend to have like a steady practice of some sort before, to prepare both the body and mind for the many classroom hours and self-practice hours. Of course, you can read some books. We have a reading list in case you want to prepare in that way, with some of the literature that will be kind of supporting the manual. But mostly it's about just preparing yourself, maybe also your surroundings, in case you have family, friends, depending on, like, if you're going all in on this and you want to dedicate this time fully, it might be nice to let people around you know that you have you're going to dedicate some more time towards this for just it's a quite short time altogether, right? Then there's the self-practice hours that we talked about earlier. It's 50 hours of self-practice that are expected. For the winter training, you have the whole duration of from 17th of January until beginning of May to do these self-practice hours. It can be at the studio, at home, or elsewhere. But basically, you have quite a lot of weeks to get that self-practice in. For the summer training, which is only 6.5 weeks, we have extended the window for when you can kind of start with these 50 hours. So already from 1st of June, you can start putting your self-practice hours to your little notebook, and these hours will also count in your full self-practice sheet when we reach the end of the training. Homework-wise, we have the manual, like I said, approximately 160 to 70 pages. I would say that the homework from that, like the reading, is not like a heavy burden, especially for the winter training. It's 170 pages over several months. So if you start dividing that, it's not a lot of reading per week, basically. So it's not too heavy on the reading, but you can have, along with the reading, you can have some practical homework. So you might be asked to, for the next weekend, to prepare a short sequence with 2 asanas, for example, and you have to explain how like in a class, right? You will get the tools on how to do that and transfer from one asana to another. So that's just an example of homework, right? But there will of course be some homework. It's not heavy, but it is there because we need to kind of also make sure that in between the classroom hours that we have some thoughts going into this. Attendance wise, we have a golden rule of thumb saying that a maximum hours of 16 hours are like a maximum line for what we can accept for absence from the training. At the same time, I would say it's not like we don't kick anyone out, like if they reach that 16-hour limit. We make sure to follow each person closely for where they are in their pace with the requirements for the training. If someone gets sick and they cannot join, obviously we want to do what we can to make sure everyone learns what they need to learn. So what we have done in those cases is that our first go-to is that we make an individual plan for how can this person kind of do some work to make it up for those lagging hours, right? So we always start with an individual plan to make sure that we do what we can to get the learning in. So yeah, it's just to say that we've never had anyone that ended their training with us due to an attendance problem. One time I think someone ended and then took the last part of the training for the next training coming up, but that was due to a serious sickness. Then we have an exam by the end of the training, and the exam is for you to showcase a little bit what you have learned. For anatomy and Marianne's whole part, you will do tests along the way. So there's no theoretical kind of anatomy exam by the end. That will be secured along the training. But for the last day, you will be asked to do like a 20 to 30 minute exam, depending on how many students we have on the training. And here you will walk into the room as a teacher, and you will spend the first 10 to 15 minutes setting a theme for the class, and taking the participants, and that is your fellow students, through a meditation and a pranayama exercise. And all of that you will obviously learn in the training. And then after that, you have approximately 10 minutes to do a short sequence where you have to show the group and the teachers what you have learned. So that's the exam. And by the end of that, we have a little feedback round, and hopefully we grant the certificate by the end. So a few questions that we typically get, for example, is my current level enough to start a yoga teacher training? That's very common for students to kind of have this worry if they are like trained enough or ready enough or flexible enough. So what there is to say about that is that it's a foundational training, so you're not expected to be an expert when you start. This is the building blocks that you're going to get, and we are also going to see you have both a physical and a mental growth during this whole course, right? I have not experienced anyone coming and having an interest in taking a training, a foundational training, and actually not being ready, because I think when you reach that point where you know what yoga is about and you have found interest in a training, you already have had like a good base of understanding and practice to kind of prepare you for that. Also, there can be other factors to consider. So, of course, your experience with yoga, but maybe you have experience throughout your life with other sports, giving you a good bodily awareness, or maybe you have education or interest or even work with something else that are not being a yoga teacher, but something that can support. So supporting pillars like being a physiotherapist, you will know a lot about the body. Or maybe you have really like studied the spirituality and the philosophy, and you kind of already have a good base there. So there are several things that can support you in terms of your level when entering. Also, less experience can be a good thing. And what we mean by this is that if you have practiced for many years, you might have gotten some habits along the way in how you perform the physical practice, for example. And it can be a little bit more difficult to change those habits that have come in along many years of practice. Whereas if you're very new to the practice, then it might be a little easier to adjust. Of course, if you're a complete beginner, we always recommend that you have a bit more practice and understanding before entering a training. But yeah. And then, of course, you can start your preparations. So if you feel a little bit uncertain, then getting some hours into your schedule now, maybe do a little bit of reading. These things can also help you feel more ready. Yes. And then how to make it all add up, because time is a very precious resource for us in modern life. So how to make the training fit with other obligations. What we have done is to try to make a course plan that allows for you to still be a human being outside of the training. Of course, it will be a time where you have to dedicate yourself. You will also, to get the most of that kind of investment and time, we obviously prefer that you focus as much as possible, but at the same time there is other obligations, right? You might have a job, you might have kids. This is perfectly normal for the students that attend on this training. So we have done what we can to kind of make it possible to add it in alongside other things. Obviously, you will have more input during this period. You will have some things you will need to do and prioritize, but it is possible to do. Also, the hours of the training, we have on purpose put it by the like midsection of the day to have like long mornings stretching on all until midday or early afternoon, where you are not at the training, and then also from early evening and all evening. So you have time to be social, you have time to rest, take a long nap, or be with your family or whatever. You can work alongside the training. Obviously, the winter training, which is in the weekends, are kind of made for this. The summer training, we do recommend that you maybe have some holiday or flexible hours in order to make it work. Homework we talked about already, and the 50 hours of self-practice, I just suggest that before starting the training, sit down already to plan your weeks, so you get your classes booked and you kind of have peace of mind that you know you already have a plan for those 50 hours and how to spread them out accordingly, so they don't like pile up towards the end and you have to do yoga all the time to to get to the finish line of that. So we're soon approaching the end, but I've just added a little slide in regards to why students have come to us, because there's obviously many trainings out there. There's many things to choose from, a lot of great ones. So I've just listed a few of the things that at least people have told us why they choose the training at YUM. So what has been said is that it's a professional setup and a dedicated team. A lot of people also choose it because it's in English, either because they are not Danish or because they want to be able to teach also elsewhere maybe. Also many studios have English teaching, so yeah. And not a lot of Danish studios offer an English training, so that's obviously one reason. It's an experienced, mature and highly competent teacher team. It's quality proofed via Yoga Alliance. Then it's also chosen because there's a focus on one style, providing a strong backbone to your teaching methodology and continued growth. And this is actually a really important bullet for us, because we have chosen that specifically because some training formats have a lot of different, like you will learn a lot of different things. But in our opinion, and what we believe in, is that for this foundational training, what you need is the confidence and the strong foundation and backbone that will make it easier for you afterwards to acquire a lot of different knowledge and tools. But for this specifically, for a 200-hour training, you need the hours to focus on this one style. And with Vinyasa, you get the teacher training and the style of yoga that is actually one of the more difficult ones to teach, which means that it will be easy for you afterwards if you want to teach other styles. You will really have like a good understanding on the teaching part and how to build the sequences from the Vinyasa. So it's easier to have that as your backbone, right? Then there's this open-minded, non-preachy and non-hierarchical approach to things, which means that there's no guru. Everyone is very down to earth, and we're all very kind of on the same page. Room to be who you are. Then there's the location and the YUM vibe, an opportunity for social connection with like-minded people, and then there's this sprinkle of humor and balance. Yoga can become very serious, which is all good and needed, but it can also be nice to approach life sometimes with a bit of humor and a smile.
Hello, my name is Anastasia. I come from Greece and I recently graduated from the winter 200 hours yoga teacher training here at YUM. So personally, I feel that this yoga teacher training has grounded me and has given me so much more knowledge about my body, my limitations, my potential, where can I go, how can I go there, and that of course helps in the daily life. You feel one with your body, and that of course can be a very positive thing. I liked that we had homework because it helped me being even more engaged when I needed to deliver something. Generally, it was really nice and very interesting sometimes to just create something out of scratch, to do your own sequence, see if it makes sense, see how it can work, see how you can teach it. I think this was really, really engaging. Yes, for my part, I was, and still I'm not, an advanced yogi in my yoga experience. That was not a reason not to enroll into this teacher training. It was very welcoming. It's for all levels. You learn and you go with what you have, which is very important in all the yoga practice and in all the yoga experience, let's say the yoga journey. You work with what you have and you just build up on that. Anybody that wants to enroll in this teacher training should not hold back just because of years of experience or lack of. It's a very international area. It's a very international place. The cafe, the studio. We were a really nice group of different nationalities, Danish nationality also, and we exchanged so much nice cultural knowledge and very nice conversations, and we stressed together, we were excited together, we were happy together, and of course we were relieved together at the end.
Yeah, so this is Anastasia, a nice little testimonial, and I also have from Karina, who was actually on the same training as Anastasia, who said this yoga teacher training has been a truly transformative experience. The instructors and staff were not only knowledgeable and professional, but also deeply supportive and kind throughout the journey. The course was thoughtfully designed, providing all the tools, knowledge, and confidence needed to grow both personally and professionally as a yoga teacher. We have more on the website if you want to hear more for them. So we're in the last part of the webinar now. Just a short overview of what you will get for if you sign up for a training. There's the initial phase. You get the webinar access link. You had that already. If you want, we have this offer to do a free meet and greet with the head of education, and that's me. You already met me here, but if you want to come and see the studio, have a cup of coffee and talk about your thoughts, then you are very welcome to book that with me. Before the training, you can get the ultimate reading list if you want to do some reading before the training. We offer a free section of the YTT manual and a guide to the essentials of yoga teaching. And also, if you want to start practicing before the training, you can get a $2.99 a month membership, unlimited access leading up to the training. And then for the training, you get a 170 pages exclusive yoga manual. You get unlimited access to yoga classes at YUM, which means you have a full membership, so you can join as often as you want, as many classes as you'd like throughout the whole training experience. You will get this soon-to-be teacher discount in the cafe for 20% for all drinks and food. The certificate will be Yoga Alliance registered, meaning that if you want to be a registered yoga teacher with Yoga Alliance afterwards, that's a possibility. And then, of course, all the teaching and mentoring and everything. After the training, you can get kind of a lifetime membership with us, free $49 a month unlimited membership, because you have certified with us. We would like to keep supporting your yoga practice. Only thing I have to note to this is that from 1st of January, there's going to come this tax increase on all like fitness and activities and dance and yoga. So this price will be adjusted accordingly to the tax increase. Then we offer freshman classes at YUM. Freshman classes has shown to be a really nice stepping stone for those certifying, because when you get your certificate, after that you are kind of left on your own, right? Regardless of where you take your training. So what we offer is the opportunity to start teaching a few classes. It's open like free classes. You can bring friends and family, but we also put them on the schedule for the members to book, which means that you can actually already from when you certify, you can have a room full of students instead of you having to figure out where to book a room and invite participants and all of this. We kind of take care of all that administration, and you just have to focus on showing up for your first classes. And doing this is a really, really good step if you want to start teaching, because it can be intimidating to do that just after the graduation. So here we offer the support for that. In the description for the freshman classes, the participants can see that you are newly certified, you are a new teacher. So they are asked to also show up open-minded and bring feedback and kind of just support you as the new teacher that you are. We support with a guide for next steps, and then also a follow-up chat with YUM Studio Manager. If you're interested in teaching, we have had several students that have started teaching. Either typically they start off as substitute teachers, and then when the timing fits and something opens up, they might be added to the permanent schedule. We have also had a few teachers that started immediately after and got some permanent classes on the schedule, which to me is a really nice indicator of the quality of the training, because we wouldn't put anyone on a class if they were not at a level where we could kind of accept to offer that to the members, right? So for the winter training, the normal price is 26,995. Since you have participated on the webinar, we offer a 2,000 krona discount the next 48 hours. Please note, if you sign up, if you want to sign up for the training, that there are these tax adjustments coming 1st of January. And therefore, for anyone interested in doing any training with us or someone else or whatever it might be, I really, really recommend for you to make your decision before 31st of January, because it's a 25% increase that are coming on these services. At least for the tax part. So yeah, it's just good to keep in mind that you can save some money by signing up before New Year's, because all over the industry, it's gonna inevitably come some raised prices from 1st of January. So that's a recommendation, at least. And for the summer training, right now there is an early bird offer. So for this one you can save 4,000, and the early bird is available until the 31st of December. If you want to, you can have installments. The only thing is, again, if any invoices for this are sent after 1st of January, a tax will be added. So again, I recommend, if possible, and you have made your research, that you make a decision before New Year's. You simply just coordinate these things with me. So we have reached the end, and it's up to you if you have any questions to ask. Yeah. For you, Christina, we have recorded, I have made a recording of the webinar and my speak. So if you want to get the first part, I can forward that to you as well. Yes. Alrighty, then I will wish you a wonderful Monday evening, and thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope to see you at the studio. Sophia, I will see you because you signed up already for the training. So yes, have a nice evening, and thank you so much.
Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.